Hello, my dear students, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to discuss another important topic. But this topic is from O levels, IGCSE or GCSE. In this topic, we are going to discuss about malaria, that is from the units immunity and diseases. And this malaria is a very hot burning issue throughout the world because most of the populations in almost more than 80 countries in the world, they are affected by this malaria. Malaria is caused by a single celled eukaryotic pathogen that is known as plasmodium, and this plasmodium is transferred from infected person to healthy person through a vector, that is female Anopheles mosquito. Remember one thing, that this plasmodium is not found in the free environment. It is not found in the air, in water, or it cannot be transmitted along with food, but it can be transferred from infected person because it is found in the blood of the infected person, and a female Anopheles mosquito is responsible for the transmission of the disease. There are 5 different species of this plasmodium that are affecting the humans, and these include Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium malariae, and Plasmodium novelsi. So these are the 5 different species of plasmodium that are causing malaria in humans, but the most cases are reported for Plasmodium falciparum and Plasmodium vivax, means these are most commonly affecting a species of plasmodium in the humans. Here you can see the diagram of the Plasmodium vivax, and you can see that it is a eukaryotic pathogen and it contains all the essential membrane bound organelles that could be present within a eukaryotic cell, and it is a single celled organism that is affecting human population with malaria. Malarial transmission is the vector transmission, as I have told you earlier, that malaria is transferred from infected person to healthy person by female Anopheles mosquito. And how does it happen? That female Anopheles mosquito has got needle-like proboscis that it inserts into the skin of the infected person. Remember one thing, Plasmodium infects the red blood cells mainly, and it is found in the blood of the infected person. So when a female Anopheles mosquito bites a person who is already suffering from malaria, so Plasmodium is already present in his blood. So this female Anopheles mosquito actually gets this Plasmodium through the blood meal. It enters the stomach along with the blood meal, but Plasmodium immediately escapes from the stomach cavity into the stomach wall, where it reproduces sexually, and then this plasmodium migrates from the stomach wall and reaches the salivary glands of the mosquito. Inside the salivary glands, it reproduces asexually and increases its count, increases its number, and eventually it becomes a part of the saliva. Now this mosquito is the infected mosquito and it is ready to serve as a vector. So this mosquito, when it bites a healthy person, it introduces its saliva into the blood of the healthy person, and that saliva contains plasmodia. So the plasmodia are transferred into the blood of the healthy person, but the plasmodium that has entered the blood of the healthy person now is not in a position to infect the red blood cells immediately. So it remains inactive and flows with the bloodstream, and ultimately it reaches the liver, where it invades the liver cells. And inside the liver cells, first of all, it gets structurally modified so that it can be able to infect the red blood cells in future, and then it increases its count. And once its count is increased, so it leaves the liver, and large number of plasmodia enter the red blood cells, enter the blood, and inside the blood, one plasmodium infects one red blood cell. If you people are taking exams through any of the boards, Cambridge, Edexcel, AQA or OCR, and you are taking biology exam, please subscribe this channel and contact me for quality education, for quality guidance. to achieve maximum possible grades in your exam. When it enters the red blood cells, means it bores into the wall, into the surface membrane of the red blood cells. It enters the red blood cells, and the red blood cell membrane is repaired, and it means it is not actually evident to the immune cells. Even though the immune cells get to know that there is some sort of problem, but they cannot notice this plasmodium because it has escaped inside the red blood cells. Inside the red blood cells, it multiplies asexually, increases its number, and for that concern, it consumes food that is present inside the cell. Okay, after that, when its number is increased, red blood cells burst, and from each red blood cells, number of new daughter plasmodia escape, and each daughter plasmodium now attacks another new red blood cell. So in a case, you can say that red blood cell count keeps on red blood cell count keeps on decreasing every day, every time when the plasmodia are increasing their infection. Symptoms of the malaria, they are actually, remember one thing, that symptoms appear when the damage to the body's tissues, body organs have increased considerably. In the case of malaria, the symptoms are likely to appear within 10 days or maximum within 4 weeks of plasmodia entry. Means the damage is considerable to raise symptoms within 10 to 28 days of its entry. And the symptoms generally include fever that frequently rises in the periodic cycle, and then chills. You can say that headache, body ache, muscle pain, fatigue. These are the normal symptoms observed by the malarial patient. When it comes to diagnosis, so malarial case can be diagnosed by the microscopic examination of the blood and the blood test. So that will confirm the presence of plasmodium in the blood. And there are a number of medicines that can be used to cure or treat this malaria. So the number of medicines normally include quinine, chloroquine. Then we have got quinine sulfate with doxycycline. We have got Malaron as well. And in certain cases where the plasmodium might show resistance against these drugs, so World Health Organization recommends certain other diseases as well that are listed here. When it comes to prevention of the disease, so remember, as it is the vector that is responsible for the transmission of the disease, so vector control is very important, and vector control can be executed in a number of ways. The first case is vector population control. So means you must know that where the vector grows. So female Anopheles mosquito is responsible for the spread of malaria, and that actually lays eggs on the stagnant water surface, right? And on the stagnant water surface, eggs hatch into larva turns into pupa, and all these developmental stages occur while attached with the water surface. And the larva and pupa, they are breathing oxygen through the air. So in case the water bodies that could be serving as the breeding, you can say breeding grounds for these mosquitoes, if we eliminate these breeding grounds, these breeding places of the mosquito, so mosquitoes population can be controlled, and it can be done in number of ways. For example, inside the houses, we should cover the water bodies, means the water tank are well covered so that no mosquito is reaching the water surface and is able to breed. And if there are large water reservoirs, so these water reservoirs, if covering these water reservoirs becomes costly or is not feasible, so in that case we can spray kerosene oil over these water surfaces. Kerosene oil is not mixing up with the water, it remains over the water surface, so it does not contaminate the water. And what does it do? That it blocks the air entry to the water surface, so larvae and pupa do not find any oxygen to breathe, to respire, so they suffocate to death. And in few minutes that kerosene oil evaporates, so means water is not affected at all. If you people are taking exams through any of the boards, Cambridge, Edexcel, AQA, or OCR, and you are taking biology exam, please subscribe this channel and contact me for quality education, for quality guidance to achieve maximum possible grades in your exam. In some of the cases, it is also said that we can use DDT like insecticides. We can spray these insecticides over the water surface. No, we cannot use these insecticides, and we should not use these insecticides. Why? Because these insecticides, most of the insecticides are non-biodegradable. So when mixed with the water, so they remain within the water and they cause the water to turn toxic. And when these waters are used by us, so toxicity is transferred to us. And at the same time, means these mosquitoes are likely to develop resistance against these insecticides. So in the longer run, these insecticides would not be of any use. But mosquitoes are unable to develop any resistance against this kerosene oil. Even if we have more larger water reservoirs like dams, like lakes, that it is not practically feasible to introduce kerosene oil over their surface. So we can introduce insectivorous fish. So that fish, when it swims to the surface, it breaks the surface tension of the water. So water does not remain stagnant. So there are waves producing, and these waves will not help these mosquitoes to sit over the surface. So means they would not be able to sit and lay eggs. And at the same time, these fish would be feeding on the larvae and pupa of the mosquitoes. So a population would be well controlled, well reduced. But still, it is not very easy to manage all that. So the second option is controlling mosquito access to you. And this could be done screening the indoors, means our doors, windows must be well ventilated, but should be provided with certain grills that are not allowing the mosquitoes to enter. And similarly, these net grills must maybe even sprayed with the insecticide. So if mosquitoes strike with them, collide with them, so these mosquitoes are likely to be killed. At the same time, indoors, we are using mosquito coils or mosquito mats or oils. So when they are heated up, so they are increasing fumes in the environment inside, and these fumes are actually creating suffocating environment for the mosquitoes. So mosquitoes would have only two options. If they are staying inside, they would be suffocated to death. Otherwise, they should be escaping out. Similarly, people who are likely to enjoy outdoors while in the evening, at night, or in the early morning, and these are the particular times when mosquito bites are more frequently occurring. So at that case, they can be exercising two measures. One is they should be using mosquito nets so that mosquito cannot access them and they can enjoy the healthy air around. Or they can use mosquito repellent lotions on their skin, particularly on the bare parts of their skin, so that mosquito cannot reach them, because these lotions, they will fumigate, and that creates a suffocating environment, so mosquito does not like it. At the same time, there are now vaccination available against Plasmodium. So one can get vaccinated if he is living in an area where mosquito bites or mosquito population is very prominent. And at the same time, the people who are living in the area where the malaria is not a problem at all, but they eventually are, due to certain reasons, they have to visit in an area where the malarial cases are very much prominently available. So in that case, they must take anti-malarial drugs as a preemptive measure, so that if the Plasmodium enters through the mosquito bite, so that Plasmodium is unable to survive. Malaria is an epidemic disease and is also a pandemic disease. Why we call it a pandemic disease? Because malaria is affecting large population throughout the world. And the causative factors do exist in many countries simultaneously. And malaria is epidemic as well, because in certain parts of the world where malaria is found at certain time of the year, particularly when it's a rainy season, so more water bodies are developing that could serve as a breeding ground. So it is an epidemic disease erupting suddenly in certain areas of the world, and it is pandemic as well because it is affecting large population throughout the world particularly the areas where more populations are living around the water bodies, like in the coastal areas, around the rivers, at the canals, or the dams, or around the lakes. So they are likely to be affected with this disease. When we talk about the global distribution of this malaria, so many parts of the world are affected by this malaria, and in 2023 approximately 263 million cases of malaria were reported in around 83 countries of the world. But the death rate is reduced, because previously in the near past it was a very deadly disease, killing large number of populations in many areas of the world. But nowadays certain vaccination and effective medicinal treatments and timely diagnosis facilities, so they are helping in a way that population dying due to malaria is reduced. And here you can see the map, and the dark red areas in the map are the areas that are highly suffering from this malaria. So this was about malaria. I repeat, malaria is caused by a unicellular eukaryotic pathogen, and this pathogen is transferred from infected person to the healthy person through female Anopheles mosquito bites. And these mosquitoes are breeding on the stagnant water bodies, and destruction, elimination of these water bodies, or access to these water bodies can reduce the cases of malaria throughout the world. This was about malaria. Stay tuned to this channel for the further updates, and thank you very much.